Hello and welcome to In the Weeds. We're recording live from the Picky Weeds Esoteric Occult Boutique, located just south of Clark Summit, Pennsylvania, in beautiful South Abington Township. Picky Weeds is the largest and most diverse boutique of its kind in Northeast Pennsylvania, with an increasingly wide variety of items for many traditions.
In addition to items for sale, Picky Weeds hosts a wide variety of classes, events, and community-driven gatherings throughout the year. Picky Weeds is located at 105 Layton Road, South Abington Township, PA. Open Wednesday through Sunday, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. More information can be found at www.pickyweeds.com. That's PICKEYWEEDZ.com, or on our social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. In the Weeds is the official podcast for Picky Weeds, where we strive to bring the community together with topics of interest, guest speakers, and informative discussions to benefit the entire community.
If you'd like to be a guest speaker, either live or remote call-in, please visit www.pickyweeds.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the page, find In the Weeds podcast guest application, click it, copy and paste the text into an email with your contact information, and send it to us at pickyweeds@gmail.com.
Now let's get in the weeds.
Hey, everybody. It's your podcast host, John Tay, and, of course, Bella's here laying on the floor. Welcome to episode 3, Witch Wars.
Witch Wars?
Witch Wars?
Witch Wars.
I don't know Witch Wars.
Can you show me?
Later.
I want to play. I got a jar for you.
Yeah, so this is an old topic and kind of a touchy subject with a lot of people, and unfortunately it seems this kind of stuff still goes on nowadays.
It's ridiculous.
There's a lot of history just in the craft of in people just going at each other with spell work and having a disagreement or not liking the way an organization is being run or feeling that it's, I don't know, cliquey, it's a club. And some people have resorted to using magic or their will to, gain some things that maybe, I don't know, just very superficial.
Welcome to my karmic click club. Karma.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can look back in the past and even the history of some of the orders that were around, 1800s, early 1900s, the Golden Dawn, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. They had members that were upset with each other for one reason or another, and that's a whole episode in and of itself to go into great detail. But just to summarize, Crowley had issues. We had Deanne Fortune had issues. McGregor Mathers, and a lot of it had to do with breaking oaths or publicizing material that was not supposed to be publicized. You can hear the bird in the background. He wants to be on the podcast.
He's chiming in. He's tired of this crap too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just, that's how a lot of the offshoots of Hermetic Order of Golden Dawn came about. We have the OTO from Crowley. We have the what was the organization? Deanne Fortune founded.
What is it? Society of the Inner Light or something like that?
Yeah. And, McGregor Mathers publishing his, big yellow brick of Golden Dawn magic, which was, I don't know if it was necessarily inner circle, but some people think so. It's, I guess you have to be a member of that organization to
there was some anger
comment on it. But, long story short is, people's egos get in the way, and, ego is one of those things that you have to fight against a lot. It's easy for our humanity to rear its ugly head, and your ego gets interspersed into the sacred, and it really has no place.
It doesn't. It's like the quickest way to know someone's a novice is when the ego is just like waxing poetic about everything that it knows and does. So,
well, what's even worse is these weren't novices. These were, ranking members of the temple, ranking members of the lodge, losing their tempers and getting upset. And, and it may be, they had a rightful reason to get upset, but throwing curses at each other in the stairwell. I don't know if that's, maybe the best way to resolve it.
Do you think they put each other in jars? I mean,
I don't think so.
They didn't have freezers back then.
Yeah, I've read the Gold Brick a few times. I don't remember the jar spell. I know on Witch Talk, that's the answer to everything. I put that bitch in a jar and put him in the freezer. Okay. No points for creativity.
Yeah, no. So the entire thing, guys, is just really, really stupid and really reductive. And we've had a few curses slung at us, and I just have to laugh. And I think that one person was pretty horrified at the fact that I found it so hilarious. But I'm like, it is so reductive to what we're supposed to do for one another and how we're supposed to abide together, and I've talked about it before, and I'm going to drag out the soapbox. I need some sound effects for it because it's coming. Here it comes. But we need to stand together. We could be the biggest political force in the world. We are the fastest growing religion in the world. And if we can get our collective heads out of our asses and come together as a force, as a consciousness, think what we could do if we were all focused on one particular aspect of society that we're sick of. Fill in the blanks with what you will.
Old white men.
Yeah, there you go. But if we all focused on that,
that's just easy.
He's like, I got to go there. Down to the patriarchy.
There's so many more problems, but yeah, we'll start there.
But if you just focus on it and you set that into your consciousness, and everybody sat down at the same time, at the same hour, on the same day, and focused on the same object with the same intention, imagine what our consciousness could do. Imagine how much our will could change the world we live in. Well, we're too busy fighting each other and trying to be bigger Betty Boop Witch than you. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, I'm dark and lovely. I'm so preciously perfect and willful, and you cannot subvert my will. Thou will fail. Please.
Well, a lot of the problem too is you get in an organization, and the person running the organization, maybe they're an underling in their day-to-day job, and here they're the grand guru, and then
the great and powerful wizard.
Known as Tim. That one's for you, Tim. They get to be in charge, and they get to make the rules. Everyone has to do what they want, and it becomes a clique, a club. Like it's reductive as to what you set out to have in the first place. Which was a group of like-minded people working together for a common cause. So that's kind of the baseline of any group of people, no matter what the subject is, but especially in a coven or a grove or any other group, esoterically speaking. You really have to control the ego because, people get upset. It's, in the copycat syndrome is there. We've had... we weren't the first pagan store in Pennsylvania, but we were the first ones that approached it the way we did. And, you see people trying to copy Instagram posts and copy Facebook posts, and even to the wording or the placement of the photos. And you can recognize that, well, they say flattery, imitation is the best form of flattery, or whatever. Yeah. It just shows that you have no originality. But, but the thing they can't copy is us. And
you can't get caught up in that, people. Come on.
And it's easy to get caught up into. It gets frustrating, when you've done the legwork, and then the new kid in town, thinks they're going to do that. But is that cause for a witch war? No. It's just
Jesus.
Stupid.
Just do more. Do better.
Yeah.
Work on yourself. So center yourself and focus on what you have to offer, and offer it.
Yeah.
And ignore them. This has been happening to me since, my God, I could walk. And I know it's probably happened to most of you the same way, that you have a shiny new pocketbook and you're going to school and your purse is just really stellar. And then all those jealous girls are like talking crap about you, and she thinks she's hot shit with that pretty new shiny flashy purse. And next thing you know, there's all kinds of rumors flying about you, and people are coming up making threats. It's common. It's common.
Yeah, it's the ugly human characteristic
Yeah.
of competitiveness. I don't know. It's just dumb. So our approach with this, and maybe this is a good approach for everyone, is we don't try to compete with other stores, or we don't look at them and get upset. Whatever.
We don't want to hear about it.
Our competition is ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. So we look at what we did in the past, what we want to do in the future. What can we do better? Where did we fall short? What's some of the things, or what did we do right? And how can we build upon that? So, like, our competitive nature isn't towards anyone else or any other establishment. It's competing with ourselves, our past, and trying to build a better place for everyone.
Build a bigger boat.
Yeah, we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
But and that's really the best way to look at spirituality too, in your own personal path, is take a hard look at yourself, and where did I do right? Where did I go wrong? Where's my shortcomings? What can I work on? Don't worry about the rest of the coven. Don't worry about your feeling of inadequacy or none of that. It's just stupid. Just let it go. Work on yourself. Try to learn something new. You don't get experience by doing things correctly. You get experience by screwing up and going, "Oh, that sucked."
Yeah, really.
And I'm going to do it better next time. That's an experienced person, is someone who has failed multiple times.
Yes.
So don't be afraid of it.
Keep trying, guys. And the one sad thing that I see a lot in this realm, with pagans, with people new to the spirituality, is somebody that's really good and they're really earnest and they're really doing it for all the right reasons, and then they get a following, and then that following goes to their head, and they begin to think, well, I'm the best, and I'm doing everything I need to do. I don't need to do anything more, and they're kind of in that I'm a guru.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. It's hard to see that, because you fell totally in love with that person, because as Mary Ellen would say, they were being hollow-boned. And
What's hollow-boned?
Hollow-boned is like
of that.
letting everything channel through you. It's not yours. You're not doing it. It's not coming from the marrow of you. It's coming from spirit. It's coming from the energy. It's coming from the ancestors and the gods, and that it has nothing to do with you. You're just a conduit. So you're hollow-boned. You're a hollow-boned conduit. And that's doing it right and doing it for the love of it. But you'll see it. And I know you guys look around you. You'll recognize somebody in this, somebody that you just fell totally in love with, that went totally off the deep end, full of themselves, got really, really, really enamored with the glory and all the people that were coming to them for help, and then doubled or tripled their charges, or thought so much more of themselves than they did, or started to preach to other people about how they should do. And that's the one thing we don't do in paganism. We don't evangelize. You don't evangelize. It's the whole purpose of it, is to be, the spirituality is yours.
My favorite was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, well, my boyfriend, he doesn't really believe in anything. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Okay, fine. That's awesome. Good for you.
Shocking revelation.
And he just looked at me like I had 9 heads. Like, oh, shouldn't you be trying to convince me? And no. I honestly don't give a fuck.
What is it we used to say? Don't convince, convey.
Yeah, I don't care.
Don't care.
That's your path, your journey. Do what thou wilt.
Yeah.
Shall be the whole of the law.
Love is the law, love and the rule. I had to. He put it out there.
She was asking a question. I tried my best to answer it in a way that would be helpful. And then, of course, we see this all the time. The girls come in and or the young ladies, women, whatever, they come in and they're buying crystals. They want a crystal shop, and they're dragging the husband and boyfriend who's just more interested in fantasy football or whatever mundane thing, and he just scoffs at everything in the store like, okay. I'm like, dude, you have a fantasy football team.
Yeah.
Seriously? Really? I mean,
who's not working in the real world here?
Yeah. Tell me again how astrology isn't real, but your lineup is.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. But and it's a natural reaction to things that are new to them, or maybe it frightens them a little bit. They're from an Abrahamic background, and they've been told all their life that this is evil, and Yeah, we
can't
went
do
over
that.
we went over the agricultural roots of
Yeah.
witchcraft in the past episode.
But he probably
This is-
thinks she's going to hex him and she's cooking dinner.
You know, it's just so fucking stupid. You know, when the great work is not how many hexes you did on TikTok.
No.
And,
Da-da-da.
it doesn't matter. That shit isn't. It's so superficial and so reductive. And you know, everybody wants to wear black clothes and get on witch talk and tell other people, "Oh, I got this new spell." Oh, does it involve a jar?
Oh, good Lord. Not another one.
Okay, it's like one trick pony. You know, and there's more. This isn't about show. This isn't about look at me, and I want to be the guru. And you know, we get on here and we're just a couple of old farts and we bitch all the time. But you know, it's not all. Every episode is going to be this like this, I promise. But this is just a sore spot.
Well, I
And-
was just reading something, John, from a friend of ours in Malta who was saying that, you know, he figured out that how he was trying to manipulate a lover with magic, trying to get rid of her rather than just talking to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he had this stark realization that he was using magic to cover up his shortcomings. And you see that a lot because there's a lot of these things that we go into where you're trying to control another person. And I always say, don't do that love spell on the other person because what you're going to end up with is a stalker you can't get rid of.
Gollum.
Yeah, a golem's a good point. So you've created it, and now it won't leave you alone. And you've got to do that love spell on yourself so that you become the kind of person who attracts the kind of love that you're looking for. So you have to internalize magic a whole lot. Now, magic works. It works. But how does it work? In which way does it work? And do you want to do the wrong thing for nefarious reasons like, oh my God, I want to be so attractive to this guy that he can't stop thinking about me? Do you really want that? Because when you get ready to go to the grocery store, where are you going? Why are you dressed so nice? Why are you carrying that purse? You know, when will you be back? You don't want any of that. Think about these things first. It's more about your inner dialogue. So when you hear us talking about the great work pertains to that inner dialogue and being able to see your shortcomings and, excuse me, guys, and being able to fix those within and then have that conversation with the holy guardian angel, which is you're talking to you in the future, who's going to see all the pitfalls that your present you is going to fall into. And you're also going to talk to your past.
Yeah,
person.
shadow work is another big thing. You know, so some
Huge.
people are under the misconception that doing your shadow work is a one and done thing, and no, that's part of forever.
It's daily.
And all of this is just to keep yourself in check, right?
Yes.
To keep the ego under control. One of the big reasons for doing that is to keep the ego under control, and you know, along with other things like, you know,
The will.
visiting past traumas and you know, not tucking that stuff away, facing it and talking about it, and whether that's with a qualified therapist or whether that's with your friends, whatever audience, or if it's just yourself and you're working through it on your own. That's not something that, oh, I did my shadow work, I'm done.
No. The minute something triggers you,
yeah.
go do it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a constant battle to keep the ego in check, and it's really easy for it to slip.
Yes.
You know, and we run into this all the time, and especially this year. It's like we said, we've joked it's been the year of the purge.
It has.
But it has, because we set boundaries, and you know, it's not just, hey, we just take everybody at Picky Weeds, and you know, that's not necessarily true. And you'll notice when the policy gets updated, everybody scrambles who did what this time.
You're like, uh-oh.
You know, and there's, you know, right, if you look, if you work for a corporation and they have policies, I can just about guarantee you every single policy is the result of previous human interaction that
Yes.
was not something that they wanted.
Not something that was on their radar either. She's like, holy crap.
So I mean, we really do go the extra mile to try to provide a safe space, and that's not just safe for the LGBTQIA people. It's safe for everyone, right?
Yes.
Safe for everyone, and that if we encounter something that's just wrong, depending on the nature of it, we may try to counsel the person and look, this isn't going to fly here. Sometimes, we've had a couple in the recent that were heinous enough to go, you're just done.
Yeah.
You're just done.
We can't
you're
have you
You're
anymore.
no longer welcome here. And, we're not naming names. We're not,
No.
we're not going to get into the pettiness and the stupidity. Okay. They know who they are. But needless to say, for everyone listening, we really do go the extra mile to make sure that our place is a safe place. And if you ever have an issue with any of the people presenting or the people doing, divination or whatever, then please come to us right away and let us know. We will take action. So that's about all I'm going to say on that. Let's just say there's been some disappointments this year, and people that I thought very highly of that I probably was in a rush to do that. But you never really know somebody, until you have a period of time go by where things come out.
And sharing space together. Yeah.
Everybody can smile and it'll be great and it's awesome and yeah, you guys are great and you can't keep the facade up forever. Sooner or later, shit's gonna come out.
And this is that inner dialogue stuff I was talking about too. You can decide to witch more that on those people that you feel like you had egg on your face, or you can have a chat with them. And it's the adult thing to have a chat with them, and it's the higher level thinking and being that you want in your life is to dispense with, the negativity as quickly as possible in the best and most humane way possible.
I mean, there's shit that pisses us off all the time. I was listening to another podcast a couple weeks ago, and it's a fairly well-known pagan author. Right. So pagan authors, their books are distributed everywhere. I get that. Then you can get them on Amazon. You can get them in all kinds of corporate entities. Right. But primarily pagan authors, at least especially in the past, depended on pagan stores to stock their books. Because, you're going to get customers that ask questions about the book. You want the owner of that shop to be a knowledgeable practitioner, or at least have a general knowledge of the subject of the books that they're selling. And, you want to be that, you want to be available for the customer. If they have a question about, well, what's the best book? Where should I go from here? I've read this, and this, what should be the next one in your opinion? And that's what we're here for, is to help guide. Right. And you don't get that in a corporate store.
No.
You might get lucky and the cashier at one of these big corporate places is a practitioner. What are the odds? Yeah. Right. And
you're probably going to ask Bertha better than you and get a cold stare.
Right. You get the one-on-one service in any pagan shop, not just ours. Any pagan store, small business is going to go the extra mile for you. If they don't, go find someplace else, because that's part of being in this space, is being there for the people that walk through the door. Right. But here's a pagan author. And I don't think they meant anything by it. Honestly, it wasn't malicious. It was just off the cuff. And I don't think they really considered all the different aspects of their answer. Right. So it was a question or a comment on how to be a thrifty witch. Well, that's cool. We've been thrifty witches all our life because we've been broke as fuck forever, right? Broke as fuck now. You walk around the store. That's everything we got, right? Mm-hmm. So every dime goes into the store. But anyway, they had asked a question about, and this is a pagan author whose books, book sales primarily rely on metaphysical stores, mom and pop stores. But they were recommending to go to Dollar General to buy their witch supplies because it was so much cheaper. Well, on the surface, that sounds like, that makes sense. I can save a lot of money. Times are hard. The economy sucks. I need to save every penny. And I get that. I do. But isn't it kind of also double standard or a betrayal to expect the pagan store to sell your book, but when it comes time to refer a customer, you refer them to corporate America, who does not give a flying shit about you? Yeah. But they can buy in bulk because they got billions and billions of dollars in buying power. So they can offer the same thing to you 20 cents cheaper or $5 cheaper or whatever.
And here's another thing. It's not the same thing, because I've bought those candles and they don't burn all the way down, or they sputter and throw wax from animal fats in the candles all over your furniture, all over your altar. So it's buyer beware. You might get some good ones there, and every now and then they do have lots of some of the candles that we carry that they bought because they were seconds.
Oh, yeah. And then they have counterfeit or bootleg stuff, right?
Yeah.
So Amazon is rife with counterfeit tarot decks. And
Yes.
we saw Laura Tempest Zakroff talking about this a few weeks ago, and she's damn right. They have a deck that looks just like, an author's deck. And, it's up on Amazon for several dollars cheaper than the real one.
Now, mind you, these are private sellers on Amazon.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still distributed by corporate America,
Yeah.
And so, people are like, we had a question the other day about, well, what if I bought one of those decks? How would it work for divination? I'm like, well, think about it. Think about it. You're buying a tool for magical use that is already imbibed with maliciousness, right? It's a rip-off. It's a theft of an artist's work.
It's a fraud.
Someone dreamt up that deck, had the creativity and imagination to do that artwork, to pour themselves into it, to do the research of each card and pour the artwork out and put all that effort into it for some jackass to capitalize on all their legwork and all the hard work they put in and do a rip-off copy. How do you think your divination is going to come out?
Yeah.
Is it going to be a good deck that you can trust for divination? No.
No. You can't cleanse away fraud. And you can't cleanse away karma. And there's going to be a load of debt on that stolen material. It's like stealing an author's books. Do you guys realize that people selling PDF downloads of books that are still on the market for sale? It's fine to do it if they're out of print. That's perfect. But if they're on the market for sale, you are literally taking money out of the mouth of that author who probably didn't make more than $1 per copy.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah. They don't make shit on their books.
It's terrible. We've talked to a lot of authors, and they're just getting raked over the coals, especially if they publish with some of the more corporate publishers rather than the old school publishers. They're really getting hit hard on their take-home pay on those books. So you want to support these people. They're writing these books, and they're creating these decks and these tools for you. And you want to support them because they made this with you and your practice in mind and with their love of the practice in mind. And if you support the ripoff artists, like I'm going to just say this one, team of terrible ripoff artists.
Oh, God, run.
I have seen knockoff Blackcraft. I have seen knockoff decks on there. I have seen knockoff furniture on there. It's insane. And while we're talking about them, they're calling your friends' information. And I don't recommend you use a card that you didn't load money onto first, because if you're using a regular card, now they got your bank information.
Yeah, it's shit.
And it's pretty bad. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of good things to say about some of the producers I just mentioned as far as bags and clothing go. As a matter of fact, I'm a little mad with one of them now. But knockoff, really? It's going to be even worse. It was already bad enough. So buyer beware, be careful, because when you're using that app is on your phone and it's calling every single person on your friends list, and it's calling all of your banking information. So
it's better
be
to
careful.
just look. It doesn't have to be us. Go to any metaphysical
Yes.
store. They're a mom and pop place. When you buy from a small business, that money goes right back into the community. It does in our case. Hell, we don't leave the house but to go to work in the grocery store. So
That's
every
it.
dollar we spend, it's right in our community. If we go shopping, we shop small. We go to the small businesses. We go to the small mom and pop restaurants. That once in a while you have to go to McDonald's because that's the only thing open. But if we have a choice, we're always going to go small business
And
if
local.
we can. I know you can't do it every time, but just try to make an effort. And especially in this space, go to that pagan store, support those people. They're part of your community
Directly.
And anybody who's owned a small business knows the pressure that you're under all the time. I mean, it never ends. I mean, I used to think I worked hard in corporate doing, 14, 15-hour days. It's nothing compared to owning a small business because it never stops.
Yeah, the stress is always there.
So vote with your wallet. If you want to keep your metaphysical stores alive, they depend on the community, the pagan community, to keep them alive. And I mean, we are so appreciative of everyone that walks through our door. You know, it gets a little aggravating sometimes, you know, and you have, you know, like I said, we've got some competing, or they're trying to compete places, and then you have customers bring in products that they bought from your competitor and want to show you, you know, they don't mean anything about it, but it's like, what would you do if I came to your workplace and I stood in your lobby and I talked to all your customers about your competition and told them exactly where to find them and look at all this amazing stuff? That
took money out of your pocket.
That hurts to see that, you know, but it happens, you know, and I'm sure it happens to, you know, the other stores too, you know, because it doesn't really register with them that what you're doing. Well, I just bought these stones at your competition. Can you identify them and make sure they're real?
And I do.
And we do, but just.
But still, guys.
It's please. God.
For all that is holy.
Good God, please stop doing that. If you have a question, ask the people you bought it from. They're going to know way more about it than another place. I mean, I get it's like you trust some people, and you value their opinion, and we're flattered and thank you. I'm glad that's exactly what we're trying to be, is someone, you know, trustworthy and decent. But at the same time,
this is our baby. Every business owner listening to this today is going to understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
When you run a business, every single cent that you have, every single minute that you have in the day, every single hour spent sleeping, you're thinking about, dreaming about, drinking and eating your business, and it's eating you right back. So if times are bad and you're going through a recession, or you're going through COVID like we did, have 19 days after we opened, get shut down for 3 months, it's terrorizing. Okay. So, but it's like having a baby that's sick. You know, when that thing happens, it is really a child to you. You dreamt of it for years. John and I tried, my God, like 3 or 4 times to get a store started. You've dreamt of this for years and years and years, and you finally put enough will and action and hands-on into it that it came to fruition, and you're so proud of this baby that you're holding in your hands.
It's like Eminem, you got one shot.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, it's your baby. It's very precious to you. So it would be like somebody talking about their baby. It's better in front of your baby.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I know that every one of my fellow business owners, I hear you out there. You're gonna get where I'm coming from, and you're gonna feel it to the core of your being. There's not a one of us that does this that doesn't love what we do. And there's not a one of us that does this that sleeps well either. So
yeah, and we know it's not malicious either.
Yeah,
you know, if it was malicious, that'd be a different thing. But we know it's not. It's just you're excited, and you know, you're
trying to help
considered
your
friends, and I just can't wait to show my friends this new thing. And like, well, that's cool. You paid their grocery bill, but I guess we're eating ramen noodles this week. Thanks.
Yeah.
Glad we could help. Tip your waitress. Yeah. But yeah, we know. And there are things that do slap us in the face, and it's not from customers, it's from other organizations. I mean, we had a big plans to do a blood drive this year.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We were going to work with Vampirdiety. We were going to have a vampire themed blood drive. And the Red Cross was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Sounds great. And, you know, I am naming names here because this was some bullshit.
Yes.
Lady came out. She was very nice, very cordial. Just wanted to make sure there was room for the bus. This thing was going to be awesome.
She was excited.
This is going to be great. And we know it wasn't her, right? And came in the store and, oh, shit, it's a witch store. And we never heard from them again.
And they ghosted us. We've called them.
Called them multiple times, wrote multiple times, and clearly they're not interested.
And we're very short on blood in this country, and I know because we work with doctors. So
same with local news station, Channel 16. Invited them out several times. See them go to every other kind of store that opens up, but never. Not just us, but I've never seen them at any pagan, like real witch store.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they might go to a store that sells crystals along with
holistic stores. That's where they go.
All their other stuff, you know, or
holistic and healthcare,
or the woo places, you know. But for some reason, but you know, that's just part of being in business. Some people aren't going to like you.
Yeah.
And they have the right to not like us. They have the right to refuse service and
I
the
have
right to not like us.
I have a
And-
right not to give a shit. But
and that's cool. I have a right to not watch a channel or want to participate, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how things go. You vote with your wallet, you know, and they had ample opportunity to try to make things right and decided this was going to be their stance. So, hey, that's cool. So be it. We have plenty of other activities coming down the pipe and plenty of other things that the community has asked for that we're going to do. And that's where we'll put our energy, you know?
Yes.
So that's the opposite reaction of getting mad and throwing a hissy fit and cursing them, right?
exactly.
You're not worth the herbs.
No.
Herbs are expensive, yo.
Curses are for those who harm the innocent. You
Yeah.
hearing me out there? Because I know who you are.
Yep.
And yeah, those are who those are for.
Yeah, because if you resort to magic is to, God, you see it on Facebook. Oh, what kind of spell should I do for this? I don't know, Becky. Go in and pay your light bill.
Yeah.
My lights are off. What kind of spell should I do? I don't know. Cash.
Yeah. Fly paper.
You know.
How do I get rid of flies
How
in
do
my
I
house
get-
magically?
Do you have a
that was
spell
an
that can
interesting one.
help me get rid of flies? Yeah, it's called fly paper. Check Ace Hardware. I mean, we
There's vinegar,
yeah.
fruit,
Yeah.
and water, and Dawn dish liquid.
Yeah.
Put it in a jar, put a piece of plastic on it, cut some holes in it, stick a little funnel down in it, and watch the flies go in.
And a lot of this mindset comes from, and this happened before the internet, right? We had this kind of silly shit way before the internet. So we can't even blame it on the internet or TikTok or any of that shit. This kind of surface level approach, I guess would be the best word, has been going on for a long time.
It's very much just aesthetic.
You know,
That's it.
the people that, I'm a witch. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. What do you do? I wear black, and I have a big pentacle necklace, and I have lots of tattoos.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about that's the craft? Yeah. So, and it's like we talked about the last episode, people not knowing their history. And you have to know your history. One of the most important courses in school was history.
Yes.
You have to
And one of
know
my favorites.
where you come from and what came before, what laid the groundwork, who laid the groundwork, who did the work. I posted on Facebook quote by Doreen Valiente, not a single like.
I was gobstruck.
And I know we have a lot of Wiccans.
My
I
heart
know
was
we
hurt.
do. And I'm not Wiccan, and I think Doreen Valiente is a badass.
Yes. Oh my God.
And her contributions to the work are enormous.
She wrote the Charge of the Goddess. She wrote the Witch's Rune.
Yeah.
She was an intelligence officer for the Crown.
Oh yeah, and there was a lot of, and I'm sure Mark Stavish can, build on this. But
Hi, Mark.
Back in the day, back in World War II, and witches were actively working. Right, the craft took on a whole nother role in that of protection of their country and protection of their service members and the damnation of their enemies. Right? Witches were working in every aspect of the service, and those that weren't in the service were actively working on their own for the greater good. And Doreen was no exception.
Not at all.
She used to infiltrate groups. People like, oh, she was part of that group. She was an intelligence officer, you dipshit.
Yeah, she infiltrated some far right wing groups, and
Yeah.
she got very angry with one in particular because of his stance, the leader's stance on gay females and women's rights. And she wrote him it wasn't a terrible letter. It was sort of terse, and I can no longer support your organization. But honestly, she was just in there gathering intel for the Crown. So it was kind of cool that, I'm going to leave you a little poke before I go.
I mean,
But, yeah.
she ran, the Witchcraft Research Association. She ran Pagan Front in the 60s and the 70s. She's widely revered as the mother of modern witchcraft.
Yes.
And no one knows who she is. I had a book, biography of Doreen. It sat on the shelf for 3 years before someone from out of town came in, flipped out, saw we had it, and snagged it. This is what we're talking about. If you want to step foot on the craft and the path, then that's great. and it is called the crooked path for a reason. It is crooked. It doesn't go in linear. It's not straight line. There's left, right, up, down, sideways, and you'll have periods of I don't know what the fuck I'm doing and what I'm going, and then something will spur you and you'll move along again. But one of the biggest things that you can do is to educate yourself on the people that came before you.
Yes, and some of these people were absolutely mind-numbingly brilliant. Her and Alan Turing worked together to decode the messages coming from the Germans. She was one of those people that was doing the decryption of those messages. So, and this is your mother of witchcraft, and they still celebrate her very widely there. It's quite an incredible thing to see.
So just as an example, you have the Witch's Rune up on your screen over there.
Let me see if I can find it.
We're going to do a quick reading of the Witch's Rune. This is by Doreen Valiente.
So, it was written in 1957, and it goes a little something like this. Darksome night and shining moon, east then south then west then north, hearken to the witch's rune, here come I to call thee forth. Earth and water, air and fire, wand and pentacle and sword, work ye unto my desire, hearken ye unto my word. Cords and censer, scourge and knife, powers of the witch's blade, waken all ye into life, come ye as the charm is made. Queen of heaven, queen of hell, horned hunter of the night, lend your power unto the spell, work my will by magic right. If this chant is used, guys, to reinforce a work that's already begun, end it with this. By all the power of land and sea, by all the might of moon and sun, what is my will, so mote it be. What I do say, it shall be done.
That was awesome.
Love that.
This is our ancestors. I consider her that, right? She put in the work.
Yes.
She put herself in danger all the time. All the time. People need to know their histories. Right? This is basic stuff. This wasn't hundreds of years ago. This was within some of the listeners' lifetimes.
Yes.
Right? This is recent history.
In my lifetime.
You know, Doreen was amazing, you know, and we can get going on several. There's Dion Fortune. There's all of these people that have done so much good work. Whether or not you are a part of their tradition or not, their work should touch you, right?
Absolutely.
I'm not Wiccan, but I'm in awe of what they did, you know, in the face of horror. You know, we've lived through a lot of crazy shit in our lifetimes. World War II, I couldn't even imagine, you know, what it must have been like.
What the
you know?
fear, yeah.
And you had witches working, covens working. This wasn't how to win a boyfriend.
Yeah.
This was how to kill the enemy, how to keep our troops safe. You know, it's much deeper than that. And this is where we're trying to reach you, and that the craft isn't just a thing. You don't just cast spells and then go get Wendy's.
No.
Sometimes we do, but there's more to it than that. Is the point, and it goes so much deeper. You know, you people ask about the gods all the time, but the tales are there.
Yes.
Read the tales. Read the myths. They call them myths.
Yeah. Isn't that lovely? Don't you love that whitewashing of history?
But
Yeah.
read what's there. Is it going to be always 100% accurate to what did? Is it going to be allegory a lot? Yeah.
Yeah.
But doesn't matter. When someone says Marin MacLear, you should know who that is.
Yeah.
You know, when
The Dagda.
lots of people like to claim Loki, but do you know all the tales?
Yeah.
You know, and there are plenty of practitioners in this area that have done a lot of the work, that are willing and able to help. That's why we do these free workshops. We've got Hava coming in the next few weeks to do another temple service. Hava knows her shit.
When it comes to Norse, oh my God, yes.
You know,
She's doing a Hella gathering.
we have Lindsay, who's probably one of the best astrologers, and she will laugh and say, ha ha, bullshit. She is one of the best astrologers in the area, in my opinion.
It was amazing. Yeah.
But these are people that are not even elders yet, right? But they are devout students of learning. And that's what we all need to strive to be, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to practice, we're not the just go to church on Sunday type of path.
No.
This is, you want a personal relationship with a deity? Learn about them, learn their histories, learn their tales.
Call their names in the wind.
More than that. Learn what was written about them. Even if it was written by the victors, read it. Doesn't mean, and this is the thing too, is that you get easily caught up like, well, I know this is a New Age book, so I'm not even going to get it. Even a stop clock is right twice a day, right? So even if it's a fluff book, there might have mistakenly
be a kernel of truth.
Past the editor, there might be something that of use to you. Read it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you need to incorporate everything you read into your practice. Read it. Okay. Make notes. Read the next thing. Okay. And after you've read a few things, then you make okay, I saw this author talk about this, that author talk about that, and here's what I found after researching it. Researching isn't just Googling. Researching is actually digging deep, and that's kind of required here. If you want to have any solid foundation to build this craft on, it's putting in the work, putting in the effort. I know we keep harping on this, but we keep seeing every day. And do you know what a spell I can cast on my boyfriend? Oh, God, fuck off.
And also, guys, I want to say that my love of research really led me to anthropology and archaeology, because I knew that everything was written by the victors. And I knew that some groups had come along and they wanted to over-romanticize and over-dramatize things like Druidry or, the worship of Marduk or Inanna, whatever. So I go back to the archaeology and the anthropological records to see what was left in the graves and see, what was written on the stones and what was written on the canopic jars and, those kind of things. And then I put that together with the history and see where the history falls short.
Yeah. And you run into that too, with the surface value stuff. And we got an email a couple weeks ago from an organization in the area, and they're like a pub club type thing where they live music. And anyway, they're going to do their Halloween thing, and it was titled something along the line of strange and unusual or bizarre or whatever. And they wanted us to come speak on witchcraft. I said, okay, well, thank you so much for reaching out and thinking of us, but let me put it to you like this. If you're a member of the Abrahamic religion, any of them, the majority, or like they like to think of themselves as, fastly declining. How would you feel if we as Picky Weeds had a strange and unusual or bizarre thing for the month, and we thought maybe the First Baptist Church would like to come out and talk about Christianity?
Yeah.
You could be under our strange and unusual and bizarre.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I meant no offense. I'm like, I understand, but I'm just trying to get you to think a little bit, because this is what we are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is what we have been for 30 plus years. This is our belief system. And we're strange and unusual to you. You are the new religion.
Yes. You're the babe in the woods.
Religions are the babies, okay? They have this tendency to look down their nose, and it's just silly. Stop it. And we have a lot of Christian customers, and we love them to death. We don't give a shit what your religion or path is. That is your business. And like I've told Tay, I will fight right beside a Southern Baptist that they have their rights to worship just the same as I. Could I expect it from them? Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Not always, but sometimes. But that's the way we need to be. And we need to fight for everyone's right to believe in if you believe in worshiping, or if you believe in recognizing holidays or deities, that's your right to do in this country. And I will stand by anybody. You don't have to be part of my path. It's just the right thing to do. But it's just really hard sometimes to take that on the chin. Hey, could you come speak at our weirdo? We're having a weirdo thing for Halloween. Would you like to talk on your?
Why have I always got to be the weirdo?
I'm like, you're a weirdo. No, you. Stupid head. Anyway,
it's bad.
That was just like, okay, come on.
Yeah. And you're thinking about all the suffering that we've done under the hand of the three Abrahamic religions. And they're only a mere like 2,500 years old. And let's go back and see how old Anana is.
Our shit's so old, there wasn't writing yet.
Yeah. Oh, it's just drawing pictographs.
You know?
Yeah.
Our gods go back to the days of grunt.
Yeah. And yeah.
Sun. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just named it Ra later.
Hot, warm.
You know? I'm like, get a grip, dude.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But
But remember, guys, you need to look to your elders about things like these too, and you need to not discount them so quickly. And like John said, elders are not always old. Sometimes they're just really well versed and were really, really interested, and they've spent the bulk of their lifetime studying, and they got a lot to say. And there's some certain 31-year-olds roaming around here that just blow my mind with their beauty and their depth of understanding, and some 25-year-olds who have just knocked my damn socks off. I'm like, kid, where have you been all my life? Because they're brilliant, and we learn so much from them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I've had to question things, that I thought and that I believed when it was posited in a different light from a 25, 26-year-old kid.
yeah.
So sometimes elders come in many forms because they're the ones we call old souls when they walk through the door. And in some traditions, so many elders were born what they call self-actualized or self-realized. They came into this world like that, and it was recognized from the start. I often think that when I see a 4-year-old that can play a Rachmaninoff piece on the piano without a blink. And
Just makes me want to throw the book down and walk.
It does, or throw something
Kiss
through
my ass.
the television or the screen. But that's self-actualized, that's self-realized. That's an old soul you're looking at.
Yeah.
So expect this kind of knowledge from anywhere and everywhere, and you might be honestly surprised where you find it, because I know I have been, and especially with the customers that have walked through our doors in the last 4 years. Some of the best conversations I've ever had in my life come from you guys.
Oh, without a doubt. And you never know who's going to walk through the door.
It's insane.
And that is the highlight of running a witch store business, is the customers.
Yes.
Yeah, some can come in to show you the shit they got from your competitor, and that kind of fucking sucks. But they're doing it it's not out of maliciousness, right? We can't get mad at them. Like, okay,
I still love you.
Knock it off. But it's the people that come through, it's mind blowing. We've got people that are driving from, tri-state area. We've had people drive from New York City. We've had people take the bus from New York City and to come to Picky Weeds.
To see Mark Stavish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Mark going to be there? Yeah, Mark, you have a fan club. I don't know.
You do, dude. I don't know if you realize
But we have people drive from, New Jersey. We have people that drive from Maryland. And that is really reaffirming to, okay, maybe we're doing something right. And I know the economy is hard on everyone, and it's hard on us too. Believe me, we're struggling just like everyone else is. And I'm sure every other small business, whether they're in this space or in any other space, they're all struggling. It's hard. It's really, really hard to try to keep the doors open, to try to provide events, and you work your ass off on events, and then, 2 people show up.
Yeah.
You know what? It's fine. Those 2 people showed up, and they're going to get everything we can. And that's just the way we look at it. We don't get wrapped up in disappointment. Well, damn, I worked my ass off on this, and the presenters spent a bunch of their own money to do this, and only 2 people showed up. You have a couple ways you can react. You can get upset, or you can go, well, those 2 people are going to get the show of their life.
Yes.
Right? They're going to get personalized instruction, and it's going to be great. And sometimes we have teachers that just show up at the store. Like this past week, Mark was there, and everybody in the store got a free lesson. It normally costs money, right, to get these kind of lessons. And hell, I got a lesson. It was great.
It was incredible.
Interesting conversation. And it doesn't have to be Mark, like Tay said. It's, just sometimes it's people we haven't even seen before, and they'll just start talking, and it's like, oh,
wow.
The store gets kind of quiet as people are listening in while they're looking at stones and incense. Like, what is this person saying? And it's interesting.
And then there's 6 people at the bar.
That's why we have a big ass counter. It's for those conversations, and that's one of the things that we love. That's my favorite part about this. Is it draining talking to people for 8? Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
But it's worth it because we would not have had this experience without it, and we would not be here without the community. So we're grateful every day for you guys, and we're grateful every day that you made the decision to drive to see us. I don't know where we'd be without you.
I don't either. And I'm so thankful for the ones that come to just share. That's kind of cool too. That they just thought of us on the fly. I bet they'd like to try this. You know who you are, you two. There's like 4 or 5 or 6 of you that do this, and you've just got something really good. You're like, let's run by and let John and Tay try a bite of this. You guys are awesome. We love you.
And
Thank you.
It's appreciated. It really is, from the bottom of our hearts. It really is. And if this podcast doesn't do anything, it's that the biggest reason we did it is to kind of take this journey together. Right? We don't claim to be the end all know all. God
Hell
damn,
no.
The older I get, the dumber I feel.
Yeah.
In my 20s, I know what the hell
You
I'm
knew
doing.
everything.
I don't know shit in my 50s. Okay?
I argued with him at length in his 20s. Trust me.
Oh, yeah.
He did. He did. He did think he knew it all.
Oh my God, it was horrible. But we
So
all
did
go
I.
through that where the ego is taking control, and you just have to, get a hold of that. And it's okay to have a little bit of ego. You got to have some confidence.
Especially if you're working magic.
You got to have some intestinal fortitude. You're not going to have the willpower if you're a, little wallflower. You got to have a little, put some balls in it,
Yeah.
But
don't waste it on the menial things that you
Yeah.
can handle with talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Just talk to them. Just talk to people.
Yeah. We're all in this together, and that's what we really want to accomplish with this is, not just us 2 old farts yammering around and Bella snoring in the background and the bird screaming in the background. It's not just for that. It's so that we can all kind of take this journey together.
Yeah.
And we're looking at we have events booked till November 25th. November 25th is the big triple header at the store where we're going to have intentional piercing. We're going to have stick and poke tattoo, and we're going to have Hoppy and Sananga all on the same day.
That's amazing.
That's probably
So excited.
one of the biggest events we've ever had. But the rooms are booked till then, and after that triple header event, room 1 will be a studio. We're going to be moving all of this pricey ass studio equipment into room 1. And that is going to be the In the Weeds podcast studio. And we will start doing some interviews. We've got a few lined up already. And interviewing some people local. And then we have some international people, some authors and other more well-known on a national scale, folks who have tentatively agreed to sit down with us and yammer into these microphones.
Yes. I'm looking so forward to that. I'm looking forward to bringing people of all different traditions too, so that people can learn more about the traditions that their family actually hails from. We have a lot of diaspora here in the United States from the islands and from Africa and places like that. And I would really love to be able to give them the voices that they need to hear here, and the people that can tune them back into their ancestors and their tradition. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're coming up close to the hour mark, so I think we'll wrap it up here.
We can wrap it up here. I'm good.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you for sticking it out to the end of our yammering away. We hope you subscribe and follow this podcast so you can stay up to date.
Share us.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.
Bye.
So we hope you enjoyed this episode of In the Weeds, and we hope you didn't have to pick too much pucker brush off your cloak after visiting with us here. If you liked the episode, please follow, subscribe, and share. And if you're really kind, leave a positive review. Be sure to tune in next week as we publish a new episode weekly. If you're in the area, stop by the store and see us. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great day.